Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to the second video of our Detox series. Erica here, and this is Everything Lux, the place where we are creating, inspiring, and living our Lux lives. And I'm super excited to be doing video too, because now I'm feeling like, you know, all the stuff that I had inside of me is now pushing through to you guys, and I hope that it is received with beautiful intentions, because I am pushing it through with beautiful intentions, honey. The second video in our Detox series is all about detachments, disappointments, and prayer. And this is a big one because I feel like this one is the work that we have to do before the healing process. You know, I feel like sometimes we all have a tendency to suppress the things that we really and truly go through, or suppress the things that are important, and we move on to the healing stage. And you can't do the healing stage without doing the work, y'all. So this one is a big one. First things first, I wanted to talk about some of the detachments and things that ended up happening to me. And honey, like, I felt like, y'all know that moment where Wendy Williams was on her show, and this isn't really something funny, but this is how I felt. And she was kind of having that pass out moment where she was like, that was me during this detox, okay? Very first day of my detox, I ended up having a really intense talk and separation with somebody that I love. The very first day. It was so crazy to me. It was like, I decided, I was like, all right, I wrote down in my journal, okay, on such and such a date, I'm gonna start doing my detox. And I set my intentions and I prepared myself for it. And then the very first day that I started doing my detox, I think I might have had my tea right after that, it became like very apparent that God was like, okay, shawty, we ain't playing no games. Like, it happened so quickly, and I had to have a moment of understanding, and I journaled about it, because it is just like that. When you set your intentions and set your purposes for what you want, and you're very clear about them, and you take them to God, God is gonna say, okay, let me show you how quickly I can move. And that's exactly what happened. Of course, because like I said, I love this person, so I felt very heartbroken and very like intense about everything that happened. But I know that for the timing, for what's happening, for where I'm going, it's for the best. And I feel like when we have our moments of detachment, or we have our moments where we feel like we're either leaving somebody behind or something is happening, it is important for us to realize, like, because of the fact that we live a whole lifetime, sometimes we end up reconnecting with those people, or sometimes we just don't. And that's another act of surrendering that's completely okay. Like, you have to get to the point where you're okay with whether or not that person is gonna be there or not. You know, things happen and situations happen, and at the end of the day, it's okay. You have to go through the process of growing, and that's why growth is what it is. That's why we have our growing pains, we have our evolution, we have our processes. I started rereading during the process of my detox this book that I've talked to you guys about in one of my last videos, called Conversations with God. It's just, y'all just go out and get the book. I'm not being paid to talk about this book. I love it. It was recommended to me, and so now I'm sprinkling it on y'all. It was very beautiful for me, because a portion of the book talks about prayer and talks about the fact that, you know, we might be doing this prayer thing all wrong. Something that came to me when I was journaling one day and I was having my conversation with God was the fact that if we are children of God, how is it possible that we even have doubt, that we even have fear? Because of the fact that we're on these journeys, because of the fact that we're constantly growing, that we have that duality of physical and spirit, it's important for us to remember, like, our spirituality is connected to a source, and that source always has our back no matter what. So it just became like this whole thing. And then when taking it back to prayer, how often do we go to God and we go to the source and we say, oh, please, source, please, I really want that car. I really want that husband. I really want that money. God, if you could just let me win the lottery, that would be so amazing. Like, stop. Like, what? There's a parent that when we pray, we need to pray in gratitude and not in lack. It's just like manifestation. When we go and we're saying and we're manifesting the things that we want, we don't manifest in lack. We manifest in abundance. We think in abundance. We think in positivity. So it's the same thing in prayer. We have to pray in gratitude. We have to pray in positivity. We have to pray that it's already done. And that was one of the things for me that I was just like, oh shit. It was like, listen. It became so apparent to me that a lot of the times that I was praying as if it wasn't already done. And truth be told, when you know that it's done, it's done. Whether it's a vision board, whether it's journaling, whether it's manifestation, like the fact that we become so clear, we become so sure about the things that we want, we put that down and we move in godlike spirit. We move with godlike confidence towards whatever it is. Those are the moments when we actually obtain and get whatever we want. It all becomes one. We put it down and we say the things that we want, right? We move confidently towards those things. We work hard towards those things. And then we get the things that we want. And if we do not get the things that we want, then it is important for us to check our energy, our frequency, what we've been putting out. Because at the end of the day, what ends up happening is we might think that we are, which goes back to what I was saying. Thinking and spiritually being is two completely separate things. So we might think that we're ready, but in all actuality, we're not. So I believe that, and this is just me, y'all can say whatever y'all want to say. Actually, in the comment box below, y'all can tell me what y'all think. But for me, I personally believe that we have a lot of growth and we have a lot of different things that we have to go through in order for us to get to where we want. And sometimes with having those big outlandish goals that we set for ourselves, we have to be also spiritually aligned with those things. I think about all the people that I look to for influence. And all these people, the one thing that they always say is that there are no bounds on them. They know that when they put it down on paper that they're going to work hard for the things that they want. And that's exactly what we have to do too. All this time, they always say go to God with the things that you desire, but God already knows the things that you desire. God already knows. Let me just read it, because your girl don't always have the soliloquies and the breakdowns to tell y'all exactly what it is. God is the observer, not the creator, and God stands ready to assist you in living your life, but not in the way you might expect. It's not God's function to create or uncreate the circumstances or conditions of your life. God created you in the image and likeness of God. You have created the rest through the power God has given you. God created the process of life and life itself as you know, yet God gave you free choice to do with life as you will. In this sense, your will for you is God's will for you. When I read that, I had to, when I read that, I was like, okay, so that means that when you're living your life and you have something that you want, but you face it with fear, okay, that is literally the visual representation or the spiritual representation of taking 10 steps forward and 5 steps back. That relationship that you want, be open and loving to it. And anything that you have that's around you, don't be afraid to detach from it. We're creatures of habit. One of the things that I've been personally working on is recalibrating my brain to the habits. I want to learn new habits, so let me do new things. Something as simple as brushing your teeth with the other hand, the opposite hand. I'm right-handed, so I started brushing my teeth with my left hand. I naturally wake up in the morning at a certain time, so I started setting an alarm for an earlier time. Something as simple as that can recalibrate your brain to getting to the point where you can reestablish new habits. And then I've also been challenging myself, like I said before, challenging myself to learn new things, whatever it is. New languages, new educational things, whatever it is, I've just been challenging myself to learn them. Because your brain, literally when you learn something new, connects. And it is up to you. You have neurons in your brain that connects, that create new pathways in your brain for new things. So with that being said, it is important, like it was important for me to start recreating the life that I wanted to live. Going back to detaching and attaching yourself to certain things, it was very important for me to look at the structure of also my childhood and the people who were in my life. I took it all the way back, and maybe you guys don't have to take it all the way back, but for me, I did. I purposely did, because I realized that in the present day, some of the things that were coming to me, and they might have not happened today, they might have happened like 2 years ago, but when they came up, I faced them with fear, and I was trying to figure out, where is that fear coming from? And I had to deal and unpack and write and pull through the stuff that I was dealing with that I didn't even realize I was actually dealing with. Like, because of the fact that our brain, our bodies are a muscle, we don't even realize how much of that pain, that hurt, the trials and tribulations of us going through certain situations that we actually hold on to. If you don't let go, you won't get anything back. If you don't let go, nothing new will be created. You have to detach. You have to let go. You have to surrender. And it became very apparent that there were certain things that I was doing, certain ways that I would move, even the way that I would detach myself from certain things. It was actually a defense mechanism and not actual detachment. There's a difference. Like, your girl had to sit down and realize, like, okay, you might think that you're doing X, Y, and Z, but in all actuality, you're only creating more toxic, creating more poison for yourself. It became a really big thing for me, because I was just like, okay, let me start writing down all of the things and how I deal with them, all of the different things that I have fear about. Why do I have this fear? Breaking it down. And it really and truly takes work. And until you're really and truly ready to unpack all that stuff so that you can start creating new things for yourself, everything in moderation, everything takes baby steps. And I'm not like perfect, and I'm not like, oh, we're done and now we're all good. Like, no, like, as I will talk about in the next video, healing is a day-to-day process, and so is unlearning. Like, shoot, your girl is 28 years old. In order for me to unlearn all the stuff that I've learned in these 28 years, it could take a lifetime for me to unpack and unlearn. And it's just important for me to be aware. Okay, that's the first step. Being aware that you got stuff. And then taking that stuff and going through that stuff and decluttering that stuff and unpacking that stuff. It wasn't until I really and truly started micro-analyzing the little things that I started to realize how powerful it was to impacting the big things. And it just becomes really apparent when you start looking and delving into things, how things unfold, why things happen the way that they do. And of course, because we live in connectivity with other people and different things around us, sometimes things happen and it's not us, but sometimes it happens, and it is. Guys, I hope that you guys love this video. Thank you again. Let me know in the comment box below if you're feeling the detox series, because I am feeling it. I'm so excited. This is only video number 2, and your girl is pumped. I'm about to knock them out. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for coming along this journey with me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you feeling. Tell me what you feeling. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Love and light. Bye.